Welcome to Bitcoin mining news for Monday, July 24th, 2023. This is about the last chance, at least that you're going to hear from me, that you can get your tickets for the Mining Disrupt conference happening in Miami, Florida, July 25th through the 27th. Today in the news, we'll be going over a research paper coming out of MIT talking about the climate impact of Bitcoin mining. We'll be going over a rather interesting use of a miner, some homesteader that's doing something that I've never seen done before with a miner. That's pretty fun. And then we'll also be talking about the Overton window, what that is and what it means when it changes, when it shifts, when it fluctuates in some way. And on that topic, one of the people working on shifting that Overton window, Dennis Porter, will be at the Mining Disrupt conference there in Miami. Let's start with the numbers. Right now, you'll need to exchange $29,945 to get yourself one Bitcoin. If you would rather change dollars for sats, you will get 3,339 sats per dollar. Right now, the average block time is 10 minutes and 23 seconds, just a touch over that average block time target of 10 minutes, which means the next difficulty adjustment will be a downward shift of 3.68%. That'll be happening in a few days now. The hash rate for the last 14 days is at a solid 374.6 exahash. And for fees for your on-chain transactions, we're looking at, well, it just changed. So the high, as of right now, you just saw the new block found there, block 799,036, is the high transaction fee there is 7 sats per VByte, and anytime is 6, so it's pretty much the same across the board there. We're looking at a total of 249,179 unconfirmed transactions on the block. That's ticking up right there, which is a depth of about 94 blocks. To understand what the Overton window is, I'm going to read this from Wikipedia. The Overton window is an approach to identifying the ideas that define the spectrum of acceptability of governmental policies. It says, politicians can act only within the acceptable range. Shifting the Overton window involves proponents of policies outside the window persuading the public to expand the window. What that says is that there are certain things that are acceptable to talk about in public discourse and on the political stage, and many things are not acceptable to talk about. You don't see politicians getting on stage talking about the regularity of their bowel movements, and I don't see any reason for them to do that. But if you, for whatever reason, wanted to shift that particular Overton window, and the term is named after American policy analyst Joseph Overton, then you would start maybe asking producers in Hollywood to include such related topics in their movies. You would go on radio shows and start talking about this and broaching the subject in different ways. You would go to musicians, potentially, and ask them to include this topic in their songs. I remember this changing right around 2010. Pineapple Express came out in 2008, and it brought the conversation more into light surrounding marijuana. Well, the same type thing is happening in the Bitcoin space. In the past 12 months alone, we've seen big public figures talking about this on very large stages. RFK Jr., Ron DeSantis were both down at the Bitcoin Miami conference. So this conversation around Bitcoin is broadening. More people are aware of this thing and asking questions. This tweet from Dennis Porter went out on July 18th, 2023. He says, I'll be in D.C. for 48 hours to meet with 15 U.S. Senate offices and attend an energy policy forum. I will be sharing the benefits of Bitcoin mining for our grid, our environment, and our economy. We are going to win. Dennis will also be at the Mining Disrupt conference. He says there'll be a few items you won't want to miss. One, he's going to interview, as I was just talking about, RFK. RFK has Bitcoin on the mind. That's going to happen at 11 a.m. on the 26th. And then he says here he's going to deliver a keynote later that day on proof of work. And then 3, on the 27th, he'll be hosting a panel with Florida and Oklahoma government officials. The more we have public officials learning about the benefits of Bitcoin mining for their communities, the impact that it can have for their electrical grid, the better it is for everyone. Everyone benefits from this incredible technology, the best money to ever exist in human history. And here from Bitcoin Magazine, they say, new. Texas Blockchain Council Director of Bitcoin Mining Analytics announces candidacy for Texas House of Representatives. Texas is Bitcoin country, and I believe this is, according to this little picture over here, Steve Kinnard. I can hear some people saying, oh, well, of course, Bitcoiners are going to talk well of Bitcoin mining. Yeah, well, that's great. But I've heard scientists saying that that's not the case. I've heard them saying that Bitcoin mining is bad for the environment. Well, what do you think of the MIT scientists? Because here we've got climate impacts of Bitcoin mining in the US, and this is from MIT Climate Portal. Bitcoin mining is renowned for its energy intensity. As of March 25th, 2023, Bitcoin miners' power demands amounts to 15.4 gigawatts. I haven't heard anybody say, on any side of the argument whatsoever, say that Bitcoin mining doesn't use electricity. No, they use a lot of energy. We find, this is MIT writing this, at the same time, we find the potential climate benefits of Bitcoin mining also warrant closer attention. Financial incentives, and this is the real key part of this whole article. This is the signal right here. Financial incentives of the Bitcoin network may, for instance, subsidize the sealing of orphaned and unplugged wells, and thereby reduce methane emissions at scale. Something that people are often asking when they first get into Bitcoin is, okay, so you need the Bitcoin miners to get the Bitcoin, got it, but there's only 21 million Bitcoin, got it. Well, what happened? So what do the miners do when there's no more Bitcoin? It is important to revisit this from time to time. The last Bitcoin. What will happen once all Bitcoin are mined? And this is from Cointelegraph. According to some experts, miners will always be essential to the Bitcoin ecosystem even after mining the last coins. This is a tweet from Glassnode right here. Since Bitcoin's inception, miners have earned a total revenue of $50.2 billion from the block's subsidy and fees for an all-time estimated input cost of $36.6 billion. This places the all-time aggregate profit margin for miners at $13.6 billion plus 37%. It's kind of like couriers. It's like those armored trucks. That is what the miners do. They find the gold, but they also move the money. So if you think of the armored trucks, there's still going to be a demand for those armored trucks moving the money around, even if there's no more coins to be mined. Once the ground is empty, you still need the armored trucks to move that around. This is from Blockworks here. Latest use for Bitcoin mining rig, heat laundry. Oh, look at that. So this fella here, Reverend Hoddle, Bitcoin mining clothes dryer, using a Bitcoin miner instead of the heating element to dry laundry. Less than $100 in materials, this dryer pays back sats for the power it uses to dry. So he's got this typical dryer here, and I haven't muted because I had it not muted for a second, and it was really loud because it's got an ASIC miner back there, it sounds like. He's drying away. Is that the temperature, I guess? He's got the heat. Oh, I see. So he's got the miner there. It's pumping in the heat that goes into there. It makes him a little bit of money, or maybe it breaks even, depending on the price of the Bitcoin that day. And I assume his wife says, I need this nowhere near our house because it is so dang loud. But you see right there, the heat pumps into the dryer, the clothes tumble around, and he's good to go. And it looks like he's got a handle here so he can tote it around. That's pretty neat, but why would you want to do that? Oh, maybe so you can put right here. Here's a baby lamb right there. There's a little fella or gal, I don't know. And he's got the heat blowing right in there to keep the baby nice and warm. Isn't that adorable? And it's doing something. It looks like he's drying some art or maybe some food. I can't tell exactly what that is. If you understand this. Portable space heater, lamb incubator, food dehydrator. Okay, it was food. Excess solar power hashing. The utility of a Bitcoin miner on a farm is innumerable. Think about instead of a heater that just blows hot air, it sucks electricity in, heats it up, blows it out hot air. Think of that whole process also including a Bitcoin miner in it. And as that is happening, you're taking your heater around, you're drying some clothes, you're heating your lamb, you're dehydrating some food. It's also making you sats. And we will close out with a Bitcoin-related art tour. I saw these while I was looking on Twitter for news. It looks like we've got some fans back here, some giant windmills, and these are ASIC. I thought they were cameras at first, but I guess they're kind of ASIC things with Bitcoin on them, and you've got the green. It's a rather lovely picture. And then next up, we've got another something. Maybe they used, I'm pretty sure they used AI to make this. Some strange contraption that's got Bitcoin there and plants, so that's neat. Plants and Bitcoin, hey, thumbs up to that. And then we've got this here. If this sign was real, where would it be located? Where would you put that sign? If you had the ability to put a giant Bitcoin sign, and this is Hollywood, this is where the Hollywood sign is, but if you could put it anywhere in the world, where would make the most sense to to put that sign. And you still have some time to get those tickets there at the Mining Disrupt. Scan that QR code, and that's happening in just, well, as of this going live, then it's happening tomorrow on Tuesday, July 25th through the 27th in Miami. Check that out. Meet all sorts of people, learn about Bitcoin mining. And on that note, until next time.